Hello, thanks for watching. Andy over here. It's Sunday the 22nd of December, so let's have a look at today's astrology and what's happening over the next week. It is, of course, a big holiday week. We've got Hanukkah coming up tomorrow, Monday, and then, of course, Christmas. But whatever you're doing, whatever you believe in, whatever you don't believe in, you're very welcome to this. And astrology is working for all of us all the time. It's a great leveler. So, right now today we have a Scorpio moon. She is at this moment, let me just check, she is really low. She's on a waning cycle. She is 16.6% at this very moment. The new moon is very close. That's actually coming in on Boxing Day in UK time, 5:13 a.m. So that's the 26th of December. Midnight 13 on the 26th, east side, on the west side, 9:13 p.m. So a Scorpio moon at the moment. It's kind of emotionally difficult, you know, when the moon's in Scorpio. People feel a certain amount of envy. That, I would say, is the main kind of characteristic that tends to come out with the Scorpio moon. It's greed, it's jealousy, it's negative feelings generally, but, you know, envy tends to be the way things go, and there is just no middle ground with a great many people, particularly if you're worried about something yourself, whatever kind of person you are. If you're really concerned about something, it's very easy to think, oh, you know, it's either going to definitely happen or it's definitely not going to happen. And as we know, real life isn't entirely like that. That just doesn't tend to be the way things go, generally speaking. But we'll have a look at the week ahead in a second. But I want to look at today because these are all kind of applying aspects. These are things which we're aware of today and are part of the picture today, but which will continue to be part of the picture as we go through Hanukkah week and Christmas week. Okay, Sun trine Uranus at the moment. Sudden moves, unusual, radical things can and probably will happen one way or another. At least it's a Sunday, so the politicians can't use it to kill us all, which is rather a good thing. Controversial things, though, you know, surprises coming up. The last thing you expect tends to happen with Sun trine Uranus. But the other side of that is very positive. You know, it's innovative. People come up with new ideas. Quick thinking is in the air. You know, if someone says something, you can come up with a witty reply very quickly and very easily. We hope, but that is generally the trend of things. It's going to be better today and really going forward if we are willing to accept changes, because there are big changes coming up. It's the end of the year for one thing, and that's not half a big change. All the planets are direct except Uranus at the moment. So there's a real feeling we're being propelled into 2020, and so much change is indicated in 2020. It's a great thing, really, because there is a real feeling of stuck energy in the world at the moment. Some of my most popular videos and some of the most successful readings I've done as a psychic medium have been about people being in situations of stuck energy, because nobody likes that, really. Life is change, and we always feel better if things are on the move, and they're going to be in 2020. We're coming towards that now, and the moon, as I speak right this minute, is trine Neptune, so it's a time when people are sensitive, people are compassionate, and we're thinking about the future, as I just have been, and as I always am, and I think as most of us always are, actually. But feelings and actually intuition as well tend to back up whatever choices and decisions we're making at the present time. But there's not that much we can change about the next week. You know, it's a time when people come together more than anything in just about every tradition, actually. Even in situations where people don't believe in Christmas, aren't into Hanukkah, whatever, that is the way the world is going at the moment. There's no avoiding it. You go and buy your shopping, they're playing Christmas carols. Nothing you can do about it, really, but I don't call that stuck energy, because when people come together, there is always something creative, something positive going on. Mercury is void in Sagittarius at the moment. Schedules tend to fall apart. There could be problems with communication. Although Mercury is direct, when Mercury is void, particularly in Sagittarius, communications can get a bit funny and people can spring back from things, you know. It's just too easy for people to spring back from things. Anyway, let's crack on and have a look at the week ahead. The big news really is going to be the solar eclipse, which is either on Christmas Day or Thursday the 26th, Boxing Day, depending where you are in the world. It's going to be, let me see, the moon is actually going to enter Capricorn that day, and that is significant because the solar eclipse really being in Capricorn Really, that does condition it a lot. So moon in Capricorn, that's 1:45 p.m. on the 25th on Christmas Day, and 4:45 p.m. on the east side of the States and Canada. Here in UK, that's going to be 21:45. To kick off the week, the moon is actually going to enter Sagittarius on Monday the 23rd. That's 8:34 a.m. Pacific. East side is 11:34 a.m. and here in UK 16:34. So well into the day before we get that Sagittarius moon in UK. But that brings with it everything that goes with Sagittarius, which is a very broad-minded sign, really. And when the moon is there, and when the moon is perhaps a bit stronger than it is now, we get really big ideas. It's not always possible to carry those big ideas out, but in their way, they create the sort of necessity that becomes the mother of invention. You know what I'm talking about? I hope so, because I'm not sure I do. But yeah, moon in Sag, that is on Monday the 23rd. And then on Christmas Day, Wednesday the 25th, 1:45 p.m. Pacific, 4:45 p.m. Eastern, 21:45, quarter to 10 on Christmas night here in UK. The moon enters Capricorn, setting the scene for the solar eclipse, which is very much on its way in as we speak. We can feel the energy of that building up at the moment. The actual timing of the eclipse itself is something like 5:17 a.m. UK time, so 5:13 a.m. UK time, I should say. So that's midnight 13 on the east side. On the west side, it's 9:13 p.m. on the 25th on Christmas night. Okay, Boxing Day for the rest of us, and it's a bit of a once-in-a-lifetime thing, really. In fact, it's not a bit of anything, it's massive. It's an annular solar eclipse, so the sun won't be completely blocked out by it. I'm afraid we're not going to see much of it in the northern hemisphere, but if you're in the southern hemisphere, a very different kettle of fish. But we don't have to see it to be affected by it. Being annular, we'll be able to see the circle of the sun around the dark shadow of the moon. It needs to happen. These things worry some people. For goodness sake, don't worry. It's what the Creator put into our path. I've got to remember that every time. Things are the way they're meant to be, somehow. And somewhere in this mixture of life and all the craziness going on, there's something positive for everyone. Something for absolutely all of us. So we tend to feel the effect of the eclipse like a month before, and that's why I say we're really feeling it strongly now, because it's getting really close. We'll continue to feel it directly for about 6 months after, but it really is setting the scene for the way forward in a very big way. As we go through the week then, moving on, the moon actually is going to enter Aquarius. Now that is going to be 9:21 p.m. on Friday the 27th Pacific. On the east side, 12:21 a.m. on Saturday the 28th. Here in UK, 5:21 a.m. 13 hours ahead in New Zealand, by the way. Well, it depends where you are in New Zealand, but roughly 13 hours ahead in New Zealand. So let's take a look a little bit deeper into this. Okay, bit of a lucky day, okay, on the solar eclipse, because Jupiter gets involved in it as well, and that is going to bring a good deal of luck, prosperity, good fortune, that kind of thing, into not just the actual eclipse time itself, but generally speaking, into this holiday forecast. It's going to be a good time to be relaxing in lots of ways, because when we get a new moon, as we do, at the same time as the solar eclipse. When we get a new moon with the solar eclipse, it's not the best time to start kind of planting the seeds of a new beginning, as it so often is with a new moon, but it is a great time to sit back and think about what seeds you want to plant, actually. And within a couple of days, it's going to be time to really get things going. Maybe even start launching things. But if we're going to take the planting seeds analogy seriously, that's something that I do in UK, and I guess most of us in the northern hemisphere who are into gardening, who are into growing our own food, which is such an enriching thing to do. Working with the earth, basically, and working with the energies. Christmas night, traditionally, I sit down and start planning the garden for next summer. So it almost becomes next summer in my head at that time. I can see the way forward. So however cold it gets, however dark the days might be, and however much difficulty life might seem to throw at us, do keep thinking positive. Do think very deeply about planting those new seeds. Just don't actually plant them on the day of the solar eclipse. That's the main thing. Also, on a positive note, right, Mercury makes its last move into Capricorn on Saturday, December the 28th. Now that has to do with methodical thinking, structured ideas. We're much more we don't actually have to be that careful. We're naturally that bit more careful about how we're planning things to go. And that's Saturday the 28th. And by then the new moon has got its boots on. It's really visible in the sky. And the eclipse has happened. And all the energy is pushing forward, as it is now actually, but we'll just be that much further forward on our path in our journey through life by then. But Saturday the 28th, a real good time to sit down and have a think about where we're going to be going. Moon, I think, is going to be in Aquarius by then. Let me just check. Yeah, Moon is going to be in Aquarius well and truly by Saturday the 28th. So there we go, friends. Thanks very much for watching. Big thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. It is great to read your comments. It really is. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's going to make a massive difference. If I can just get 1,000 subscribers, I am going to be really a lot more propelled through the YouTube universe. And I'd really like to do that because I'd like to reach more people. Quite honestly, it's the stuff of life, these connections we have with other people. I say I just want 1,000 subscribers, like that's nothing, but we're on about 735 as I speak, and I'm so grateful. So if you have subscribed, thanks very much. But do leave me a comment. Do share me around the internet if you possibly can as well, please. That also makes a big difference. And we'll get together again here. Well, I'll be here every day doing something to do with the astro weather, because that's what I make videos about, and that's what I enjoy doing. And I always keep my finger on the pulse. So keep it real, keep it Twig, brother, and I'll see you again incredibly soon. Be good to each other. Peace.